Thank you, Chris. Okay. Tonight is the February celebration night at the March. It's March. Why not? Why not? It's March. Good to know. Celebration night at the Fourth Dimension. Tonight we have 6 celebrants with a combined 43 years of sobriety. So first, Luke will come and present Chris K. with their 17-year medallion.
Hi everybody, my name's Luke, I'm an alcoholic. You gotta love, tonight we celebrate. Gotta love it. I love celebration night. Without forgetting, I want to congratulate all the other celebrants, but what we really want to do is let's take a moment and thank all the family members who have showed up despite what we took them through. So Chris, thank you for asking me to do this. It's really an honor. And I just thought, Chris gives out so many coins, I just thought he was going to give himself one. That's going to happen at some point. But, so Chris, I have something for you. It's kind of cheap. It's a keychain. Probably won't last like 3 days. But what it is it's a historical remembrance of the phone booth at the Mayflower Hotel. It's from Akron. You've been to Akron 5 or 6 times. You probably have 5 of these. Pretend you don't. Just for tonight, just pretend you don't. So what this phone represents, though, is maybe for a few people that don't know, Bill Wilson, our founder, found himself in a foreign city, ready to drink, and not sure what to do. And he went down the lobby, and he reached down into the phone, and he reached out and made some phone calls. And through a series of things, he ended up talking to another alcoholic. It saved his day, and it became the germ of what becomes Alcoholics Anonymous. So this phone booth is an instrument that Bill used to reach another alcoholic. And those two then reached in third, and et cetera, and that reach has gone all the way to Newport Richie this Friday night. How cool is that? So the symbolism of this, though, I can't think of a better. You know what? So Bill used this phone as his instrument. But I take a step back sometimes. I think maybe God was using Bill as an instrument to reach out. Either way, this phone booth symbolizes helping another alcoholic, carrying a message. I can't think of a better person to hand this to than you, Chris Kelly. God bless you.
Thank you, Luke. My name's Chris, I'm alcoholic. I am nervous tonight and just not good for some reason, and I thank you. It's a joy having you guys, both of you, come to our group. It really is. There's a bunch of people in the room tonight that aren't usually here that watch me when I came in and out of here, so it's nice. It's a strange assortment of people. So when I drank, something magical happened to me, and it was so powerful that I gave my life over to it. I really did. Nothing else mattered after I got that magic that happens when I got the effect produced by alcohol. And I would wind up here a couple times when I wasn't ready to get sober or whatever. I couldn't get the idea out of my head of being, of never drinking again. And I would go about this work with that energy. And it didn't work, for me anyway. And through a series of, through the sheriff's office, really, but by my actions, and just burning my life to the ground one more time. I wind up, in the hands of Pasco County sheriffs, and ultimately then back in you guys' hands, and thank God for that, really. And this meeting wasn't here at the time. This group didn't exist, and this group might not be for everybody, and I understand that. I really do. But this group saved my life, and the actions that guys that were here that just showed me how to do. We were talking about it last night in a meeting that just exemplified what this group taught me how to do, and there's a lot of stuff going on this month. This is a heavy month. One of our group members passed. There's going to be a celebration of life for him tomorrow in this room, and there's another guy that's been instrumental in this room for years, and he's in and out of a coma in Bayonet Point after a motorcycle accident. But what I got to be a witness to was watching guys and girls from this group do what this group does so well, and it's just get together and be the hands and feet of AA, and just take these people's kids and take them for a week, not even think about it, bring them back and forth to school, sending food places, and just doing everything we can to be helpful. And that's not, if you're an alcoholic like me, that is not even my first thought. It's not even my 10th thought. Especially when I get here, I am just consumed with myself. I'm not thinking about helping anybody. I'm here for the help. I'm not trying to be helpful. And what the guys that were here before me showed me is that the way I get to help is I am a helper to somebody. I just help any way I can. And I got to witness that. And we were in a living room last night because of one text went out to a handful of people and said, hey, Caitlin, who's unable to celebrate with us this evening, is on bed rest, and let's bring a meeting to their house. And there was 21 of us in this living room talking about the big book and God and what these steps have done in our life. So, Luke, a lot of times, Luke's not my sponsor, but if anything should happen to Dave, he would be my sponsor, but he is my service sponsor, if that counts for anything. But he talks a lot about where were you at. He'll catch you on your anniversary night, your celebration night, and say, where were you X amount of years ago, a day before that, or whatever. What did that week look like leading up to that 17 years ago? And for me, it was horrible. And I was thinking about it because he asked me that last year. And I figured, I'm certainly not going to ask me that again. He asked me last year. And to go one step further, where was I at 17 years ago to this very day? If you're new, I was brand new 17 years ago. I was sitting actually in the medical wing with Eric. I was in the county jail with Eric. But I was brand new, and I didn't think this was going to work. If you're here and you don't think this is going to work, welcome here. This worked in spite of me. It did not feel like I was getting sober. It did not feel like I was, ready to embark onto this thing and help with this group and help sponsor guys. I didn't think of it. It was not anything about that. This was only about trying to have a different, just maybe you guys could sign my paper and I could not go to prison for my life. Maybe I could get my license back. Maybe my parents won't be mad at me. And what you gave me is a brand new life. It really is. It's my, I got 2 kids that have never seen the madness that happens when I drink. Thank God for that. And a wife that's sober and a wife that's never seen me, act the way I act when I'm drunk. And you gave my parents back their son. Just a normal citizen today. I'm a neighbor. Whatever it is. You guys did something to me that was miraculous. And I can't help but thank you. Thank you so much for my life, and thank you to this group. Thank you.
So Jennifer is going to come and present Dawn with her 14-year chip.
Thanks, Kate. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer, and I'm an alcoholic. And this is my friend Dawn. And about 14 years ago, I had the honor of sponsoring her. And I just want to tell a brief story about what happened. She might tell you a different story, but I'm going to tell you my version of it. So, we at meetings, this particular meeting, we read from the podium or we go to the A Club and we, share our experience. And I started to notice Dawn because I noticed Dawn noticing me. So have you ever been in the meeting and you're sharing your experience and somebody's just like, eyes are deadlocked on you, right? Those are the people, by the way, we go up to after the meeting and get them. Just go get them. And every time I would turn around, I'd come up here and read at the end of the meeting, she'd be locked on every meeting. So after the meeting, I would go to find her, to go get her, and she'd be gone. She would just bolt out the door, right? So we're at the A Club one afternoon, and same experience. I share my experience, eyes are locked on, and then when you notice them with their eyes locked on, they look away. Yeah. We go get them. So that happens, and she was if you've ever been to the A Club, there's a tea table. She was sitting in the corner, in the middle of the round table, right? So I went there, right? So the meeting ends, and I didn't even hesitate for a second. I didn't wait and kind of I just went beeline right there. And she had her back to me, and when she turned around, her eyes about fell out of her head, right? But I just introduced myself. I said, I'm Jennifer. I said, you want to go have some coffee? She said, yes. And so from there, we'd entered into this relationship of sponsorship. And, I had the privilege of taking her through the steps. And the steps did what they were designed to do. They took her hand and placed it in God's hand. And here she is today at 14 years. And man, she travels the world. We don't really get to see her. She travels all over the world practicing these principles, as far as I can tell, as far as I can see. Everywhere she's going. And it's just a real privilege and a real honor for her to be celebrating with us tonight and for me to give her this coin. So congratulations.
Why this thing so high? There we go. Yeah, Jennifer about summed it up. When I first came in here, this was actually my first meeting, and I didn't come here because I wanted to quit drinking, but my life was in shambles. I had my third DUI, no driver's license, lost my relationship and my home, lost my job. I had nothing. And I just thought maybe if I came in here, I didn't really know what else to do. So, I thought if I came in here, maybe I could, get a handle on things and stuff. And I read these steps on the wall, and I kind of checked them off in my head. And I did some of that and some of that. And so I didn't need to do the steps. And I heard y'all talking about sponsors, but I figured since I'd already pretty much done all that, I didn't need a sponsor. So I was good to go. And the result was predictable. But yeah, I was in that meeting and I'd heard Jennifer talk a lot, and something about the things that she was saying and the way that she felt and stuff. It just sparked in my head. And but yeah, I didn't want to sponsor, so she cornered me, and that's how that all started. But yeah, so today, my life has changed in ways that I never dreamed possible. When I came in here, the thought of not drinking for 14 years was inconceivable. But because of this program and you guys and the help of a sponsor, when my mom died, I was able to be there and help my sister and help pay for the funeral. I was present and I was helpful. I never would have done that. I would have gotten lost in a bottle and not even gone home probably. And again, when my stepdad fell ill and he was passing, I was able to be there at his bedside with him. And those are some of the greatest gifts that I got from this program, because I did not show up for any of my family for quite a while. So I was able to do that. I now have a job that I absolutely love, and like Jennifer said, I get to travel the world. It's just a life that I never imagined having, and I'm so grateful to you guys and this program that I get to live it.
Dan L. will come and present Dylan with his 4-year medallion.
Hey, my name's Dan. I'm an alcoholic. So congratulations to everyone that picked up a chip tonight and everyone that's celebrating. I think it's important to point out tonight's not about, Chris or Dylan coming up here and celebrating, man. It's just to kind of let the newcomer know that, Chris and Dylan they were fortunate enough to tap into this, to this miracle, which is Alcoholics Anonymous. And if you guys feel like they feel or, acted or got, loaded the way that they got loaded, you tap into this thing too, it might work for you guys as well. So I've known Dylan for a little over 4 years now, and he recently, a couple months ago, asked me to sponsor him and bring him back through the steps because he wanted to enlarge on his spiritual life. And I had one thought in my head. He had a bad sponsor. So we started going through this work, man, and I had this idea. I'm going to have him explain the first step to me the first time that we meet up. And he did it perfectly, right? He's explaining, doctor's opinion, this allergy, and, coupled with this mental obsession. And I was quickly reminded that we had the same first sponsor. And, Drew had moved away to St. Pete, and he wanted to get back to this book, and we started going through this work just recently. And I think what he realized, which I think is the cornerstone of what we do here, man, is that I can read this book as many times as I want. I can go to a bunch of meetings and share a bunch of really good stuff. I can write a bunch of inventories and I can share them with my sponsor every single night, man. But if I'm not working with another alcoholic, if I'm not enlarging my life through work and self-sacrifice for another, then this isn't going to work for me. I'm not going to be able to tap into this power. And this is what we've been talking about over the last month and a half or so, is, getting out there and just abandoning ourselves to helping somebody else. And since having that initial conversation with Dylan, that's what he's been doing, right? He's been picking up people for meetings. He's been showing up. He was part of this meeting that we had in my living room last night, and he was tasked with showing up and bringing drinks for 20 people. And this meeting didn't start till 8 o'clock, and he showed up to my house at 6:30 and just hung out with us, and letting these drinks get cold, right? Because he wanted to be of service to the other people that were going to show up, man. So, it's been a month and a half, man. It's been great so far, and I'm super excited for, the rest of this journey, brother. Congratulations.
Hi, my name's Dylan, and I'm an alcoholic. As Dan said, I have been really fortunate to have been sponsored by two very good men in this group. The first go-around, why I ended up with a new sponsor, because I didn't listen to the first one. But, with all of that being said, what I have learned was if you stray away from this at all, you feel it. And it might not be immediately, but you really start to feel it. And so I ended up coming to Dan because in my head at the time, because I work in the recovery field, that's my career, I had to separate my recovery with my job. And for a while it worked, and honestly, that's probably what needed to happen. But I ended up just only going to meetings. I wasn't working a program. I wasn't helping anyone. So it became just stagnant recovery. And, then we ended up losing someone, and it woke me up. So I jumped back in as quick as I could, as hard as I could. And, through all of that, I have learned that if you actually follow the suggestions of the people in this program and get a closer relationship with God, true recovery is possible. And for that, I'm very grateful. Thank you for my sobriety.
Congratulations, Dylan. So, Caitlin is not able to be here tonight, so let's take a moment and acknowledge her. 5 years. Okay, now Chris will come and present Dante with his 2-year medallion.
Chris, alcoholic. So, Dan, well, let me back that up. I said a prayer. I want to be more helpful to people. I wrote in an inventory that I feel like I need a new guy. I hadn't worked with anybody, and it felt like a long time. It was probably a month or so. I didn't have anybody that I was in the book with. And Dan calls me like the next day, and he's like, Dante that works with me, he's going to call you. And I'm like, I don't like that, right? I'm like, I want the guy to come to me. I want to know, I want him to know if he likes what I have. I'm not doing this matchmaker thing, and but it was exactly on time, right? So Dante and I start working together, and it was exactly what I needed at the time. I don't know what it helped for Dante. I think it did quite a bit because, here we are doing this deal together. But, man, it absolutely helped me. It took me right out of myself. We had a little regiment. We were meeting regularly and going through the book. And then to watch it, we do a men's retreat in February, and to watch this dude come with us and just be a part of that thing and just be right there in the middle of it with us. It's pretty awesome. So, this is from the group, but this one here signifies a lot, actually, of what Luke was talking about, unbeknownst to this is the man in the bed here, because Dante right now is in the market for a sponsee. If you need a sponsor, this is your guy. So this here is a coin from Akron, and this is the man in the bed, and this is AA number 3, and your 2-year medallion, brother.
Dante, alcoholic. I want to say congratulations to everybody that got a chip. And I don't know if you're anything like me, with a little dedication, you can be rocketed into a new way of life. And so public speaking isn't really my forte. But I appreciate being here and being introduced to these amazing men in my life now. It definitely changed me in numerous ways. And I don't know, and Chris, he has me doing this thing at night. It's like an inventory deal, and that's changed me a lot. And it's like making me hold myself accountable to just the ways that I interact with different people. And it's like what used to be white lies that I would tell, and now it's like, I better not do that, because I'm going to have to write it down. It changed me a lot. You got to be honest all the time, so it's different. And it makes me think about like what I'm doing, and I come to realize I daydream a lot, but that ain't so bad, I guess. But I had a lot of poignant stuff wrote down, and I lost the paper. He told me to wear a tie, and then I don't know, I'm not big with these ties. It's like a ramp on my gut, but it's all right. But so I got into this whole drinking thing. It really got bad when I was in high school. It was in the last century. I'm pretty old, but yeah, it started with, I ain't gonna go into different kinds of alcohol, but I got pretty deep into alcohol and all that. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I lived in a nice little town, and my life just quickly tanked after my family broke up. Like most people, it was physical abuse and all that, emotional, mental, whatever. And over the years, I got deep into this alcohol, and then I moved to Florida in 2000, and I don't know, I thought this was just the best place to be, and like they say, you come on vacation, leave on probation or whatever, and I'm still here, still here. But yeah, once I got here, I didn't realize all the things they have to offer in Florida, and I quickly got into that, and so what started as alcohol, it advanced over time, so I kind of graduated into different things. And so all I can say is I went from a pretty decent kid to like a scourge on society, and I was doing the unthinkable. I've seen everything. I've seen life come, I've seen it go, and it was wild. But toward the end, I got so low that I was cleaning up dog crap to get a little more. Can I get more, sir? It's like Oliver Twist or something. It's like, man, looking at myself in the mirror, it's like, who am I, But I don't know. In time, I ended up going to meetings, and I really wasn't paying attention at first. And like, I was just listening to the little things they say, and it was, just take it one day at a time and just take it slow and things like that. And it started to make sense. But it wasn't hard things. It's just stuff I never thought about. And I just started paying attention, and I started listening to the stories and all these different people, and we all got the same things in common. And that really struck me. And so I just started paying attention, and then I got with Chris, and that was a big deal. And Dan, of course, I can't leave Dan out. Like I said, it's a major change in my life with these two men. But yeah, it's just going to the meetings and just paying attention. And I started to, I guess you could say, grow a little bit, and just trying to get better, So I'm still a work in progress, I guess you'll always be that. But definitely gets better and better. And I appreciate all of y'all. And thank you for this 4D. And thank you for listening to me.
And now Caitlin will come and present Megan with her 1-year shift.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm an alcoholic, and it is Caitlin spelled the exact same way as Caitlin, who would be here for 5 years. I've had the honor of meeting this woman right here on a women's retreat, and she had this zest for life and this joy, and she was a positive burst of energy and just loved everybody and anybody, and I was immediately drawn to her, and I knew that we would be good friends. She exudes the same energy and positivity that I love in my life. And I just looked at her and I was like, man, God is moving in this girl's life. And I've had the honor of laughing with her, crying with her, and dancing with her. I love this lady to death. She is a prime example of what happens when you surrender and trust this program and you give your life over to a higher power of your understanding, who we choose to call God. She is an example of service, will give the shirt off her back, highly involved, and she got right in the middle of it and continues to do it despite her circumstances. She's a powerhouse, and I love this girl to death, and I'm just so grateful that I've been able to meet her. So today we celebrate Megan's 1 year. And then also, I have to do a Caitlin speech, so hold on. Megan. Hi from Caitlin. Sorry I couldn't be here tonight. I've been trying to get out of celebrating for the last 5 years in a row. I even faked a relapse because I hate it so much. And now that I finally have an excuse, I'm so sad I'm not here tonight. And I'd much rather be here with all of you. Especially to present Megan, but I just wanted to say how proud I am of Megan. About a year ago, she posted in the Pasco AA Facebook group, and I commented, and then the next morning around 7 a.m., I randomly thought about her and wondered if she made it out to detox. So I messaged her, which was totally God. I know that now. We spoke on the phone and immediately clicked. She had a Valley Girl accent like me, which all of you out here make fun of me for, but it's just how I talk. But now I make fun of the way Megan talks, and it's actually a lot of fun, so I get it now. But Megan came in here just so done and willing to do anything to get sober. Literally everything I asked of her, she did. She took every single suggestion, called me 17 times a day. I did not say to do that, but she did. We went through the steps quickly and then started a little tradition study at Luke and Michelle's, and she has always been so on fire for AA. She's always so positive, which could honestly be annoying at times, but God knew exactly what I needed in life. Sorry. It's been the most wild experience sponsoring someone who is exactly like me. I've truly never experienced anything like it, and I'm just so grateful for the experience to have watched you grow into the woman, mother, sister, daughter, and friend you are today. You inspire me to be better every day. I'm also a really big proponent of being open and honest with my sponsees so they know I'm not perfect. So after only a few months of knowing her, I was sleeping and I woke up around 4 a.m. to a roach crawling on me in my sleep. So I woke Dan up freaking out, and he told me it was probably just a dream and to go back to sleep. So I got out of bed and I left my house in tears because I hate roaches more than anything in life. So I called Megan at 4:30 a.m. because back then she used to wake up that early on purpose, which is crazy, but it worked out. And of course, if your sponsor's calling you at 4 in the morning, it must be an emergency. So she answers and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm not okay. There's a roach crawling on me in my sleep and it's all Dan's fault. And I'm not going back home until we find it and kill it." So I picked her up and we went to Home Depot and sealed all the cracks in my doors. And we even named the roach, but she's just always so willing to help other people. And I rely on Megan to help me just as much, if not more than she relies on me. Like sometimes it feels like she sponsors me. We've been through so much together and we're pregnant together now, which has also been a very cool experience. Even though we've snapped on each other a couple times because of all the hormones, but I just want you to know that you've helped me more than you'll ever know, and I just love you so much. Thank you for my sobriety.
Hi, my name is Megan. I'm an alcoholic. I didn't want to cry. All month I've thought, like, what am I going to say up here? And every time I thought about it, tears would just come to my eyes. I'm just like filled with so much gratitude because my family's here tonight. And if you knew what I went through and how I got loaded, like they know, I didn't think I'd ever make it here. I didn't think I'd have a year. I didn't think I'd be alive today. There's been so many men and women in this room who have been very instrumental in my first year. The women's retreat where I met Caitlin and Nikki, and I was on fire, and like hearing those women that had years and like telling me like, oh my God, and like knowing, like telling me like, you're gonna get this, and the strength that they gave me, no matter what I was going through, because my first year, gosh, I've gone through some things, definitely things that I would choose to get loaded over, but, I chose to pick up the phone, I chose to get involved in service, like, and then once I fell in love with AA, I fell in love with the history, and I want to do this, and I want to do that, and, I got involved in the group, and service, and everything I always made fun of everybody else for, because I just couldn't get there. I'm so grateful for everybody that's been placed in my life in the last year, because I couldn't have done it without any one of you. I am sad that Caitlin's not here, but she's always taking care of everybody else, and she needs to take care of herself, and today I can be selfless, not selfish. I'm so grateful for this group. There were a couple months that did not want to come because of things I was going through, but everybody called and checked on me, and and those phone calls, and the ladies that I work with and help go through the steps. I wouldn't have it any other way. My life is happy and fulfilling today, and it was never that way before. I didn't want to live anymore, you know? I really don't know what to say, but I'm so grateful to God. I'm so grateful to AA, and I'm grateful for every single one of you. Thank you. How could I forget? Okay. This woman I would see every morning at the 7 a.m. You know, Caitlin said I wake up at 4:30 every day. I would go to the 7 a.m. survivors because I got the opportunity to work only part-time, and Rosie was always there, and I just loved her, and she welcomed me and always talked with me, and I love her story. So our speaker tonight is Write It Down, Rosie.
Couldn't come without the pen and pencil. I tried. Hi, everybody. I'm Write It Down, Rosie. I've always wanted to make it to 4D, but I didn't plan on making it this way. I wanted to be sitting over there, but when Megan asked me to speak, I was honored. What it was like, what happened, what it's like now, real quick. I know we don't have long, but I think a couple of you might not know what I'm talking about. Is my life sucked before I came into AA. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I had just had it. But I didn't know how to go about it. And I heard about AA. And so I remember sitting in my truck, with the bottle of vodka in my hand, I was going to go to my first meeting, was going to be a women's meeting at St. Irenaeus Church. But I bought the bottle because I know I didn't want to go in, but I was going to pretend I was going to go in, if that makes any sense. But I sat there, and I'm watching these ladies walk in, and they're laughing. They're laughing, and they're all, and I'm looking, oh my God, I do not belong here. So the second week, I went back, same bottle, same truck, same meeting. This was in 1989. And I did the same thing. But the next week, I went back without a bottle. And I sucked it up and walked in and sat down. And everybody was amazing, except I just didn't feel like I belonged there. They were, like I said, they were cracking their gum. I hate that. Crocheting, knitting, but all having a meeting. I don't know, it was, and they were planning a woman's wedding at the time too. But, I wasn't there for me. I was there because everybody else in the world was telling me I had a problem. So I went back out for another 4 years, returned to that meeting in 1993, and thought I had it this time. I really did. I got a sponsor. I got a great foundation up. I'm from Chicago, up north. I have a great foundation up there, a group of women that just made this. I'm so nervous, you guys, and I forget, so please bear with me. But I got sober, and I thought I had it. I wasn't quitting for the right reasons. I love to drink, and I was sick and tired of my life, of getting up, going to work, wondering where my next drink, when I was going to be able to take the next drink, whether it was, if I had to run in the bathroom. I was a waitress for 38 years. I'd have my bottle, my toothbrush, and my Tic Tacs for when I, had to take a break in the bathroom for a minute. But and then I finally realized, it was the year 1999, that I realized that this is it. My kids were getting older. I was done. I don't know what came across me this time, but I did it. And I had gone to meetings just sitting, not really working it, just thinking I was going to get AA through osmosis, but no. You know, it wasn't until I sat down, got a hard sponsor. You know, I always had picked easy ones. One that I knew, rough-looking chick with tattoos all over, tattoos all over. She scared me to death, but I asked her. And that was my first sponsor. I don't know, AA has changed my life, you know. Unfortunately, 99 wasn't it. I had to go back out in 2005 for 5 months. And thank God since then I got it. For today, anyways. AA has given me a life beyond my wildest dreams. I mean, even to be here retired in Florida, you know, like that's what everybody wished for when you were growing up, you know, and I was like, no way was I going to make it, and here I am. You know, when I came down here 3 years ago, me and my husband drove down, and when I made it, I looked for a meeting right away because I was scared to death to be down here, but I knew that if I could find an AA meeting, I would have family. And I looked in the meeting guide, I saw survivors. I'm like, if I could make that meeting, I survived 3 days driving from Illinois to Florida. I have to go to survivors. That sounded like the meeting for me. So I found survivors at 7 a.m. and went there every morning for 2 years, you know, and built a foundation down here. You know, I got into service work. I work at I chair and then I volunteer at the Central Service Office. I believe service is really important in your program. I sponsor, again. I suffer from depression, and I went through a really bad time where I had to let go of my sponsees because I didn't feel like I wanted them to get all they could get, and I just didn't feel I had it at that time. So I wanted them to get someone that would, not that I wouldn't do it properly, but you know, I have problem with self-confidence too. A lot of problems, but I'm a work in perfection. But you know, here, you know, like for the newcomers, a sponsor is so important, you know, which I have a sponsor. I really haven't found my sponsor down here. I've met a lot of women, but I just haven't met the one yet, you know, and you gotta be ready, you know. So in the meantime, I have a temporary, we kind of use each other for a sponsor, and then I do have my sponsor up north, but she's far away. So now here I lose my train of thought. That's what I do. I just know, I always tell everybody, don't quit before the miracle happens in AA, you know, no matter what you're going through right now, you know, you can do it. You can do it. I'm going to share on a real quick note because I could use some prayers, and this is probably, I'm going through the hardest battle of my life now in AA, and that is watching my husband die. He's got end-stage COPD, you know, and his days, his bad days are getting to be more than his good days. So, you know, it's a whole new thing for me, you know. I've always been taken care of my whole life, you know, and even in sobriety, my husband has been my biggest supporter. He quit the day I quit drinking. He didn't relapse all those times. So his sober date is back in 99, you know, but he wasn't an alcoholic either, you know, but thank God that he didn't quit at the time, because I think it would have been a lot harder if I would have had alcohol laying around the house here and there. He still has cooking sherry out wine sometime, and I make him put it away. I just don't need to see alcohol, you know, even though I have a few years, I don't really want nothing to do with it. You know, let's see. I don't know, I'm glad I didn't have to talk longer. I mean, you guys would have heard a little bit more about me, but you know, AA has just changed my life, and I am so grateful that God has given me another chance at life at my age, you know. The last 20 years, well, going to be 21 pretty soon, have been amazing. Nothing that I ever, like I said, I've said this before, never in a million years, guys, would I believe I would be standing here, you know, without a drink in my hand. I didn't think I could have fun again without a drink, you know. All those, when you first come in, you know, how am I ever going to have fun? How am I ever going to laugh? How am I ever going to do this, do that, da-da-da-da. You know, it's so much fun sober. Well, a bunch of us went bowling not too long ago from the 7 a.m. survivors, and oh my God, we had a blast. You know, gutter balls going down the alley with the ball, you know. But we were all sober and we were all fun. It was all fun, you know, and no one was embarrassed. And, you know, I don't know, guys, where I'm going with this. I'm so grateful. I will be back here for sure. This is a great meeting, great meeting. And I also want to thank my peeps that showed up, that a few people I told, because I didn't want to tell too many people. I don't know. Trust God, clean house, help others. And know, if you're ever into something, helping another alcoholic will help you get out of it. That's all I got. Thanks, guys.